Most youth programs are built like pipelines. Teenager walks in one end, gets some programming, and walks out the other end. The organization writes a case study, celebrates a graduation, and then starts recruiting the next cohort. And the graduate disappears into the world. The program resets to zero. We did this for 3 years, and then we realized the architecture was broken. Not the curriculum, the architecture. Not the facilitators, the architecture. The shape of the thing itself was broken. Here's what a pipeline does. It moves something from point A to point B. That's it. There's no return. There's no compounding. Every new cohort starts from scratch, which means the organization is running on a treadmill, spending the same energy, producing the same output year after year. It's not scalable. It's not exponential. A pipeline leaks energy. That's the nature of a pipeline. The further the water travels, the less pressure it has at the very end. And that's exactly what we were watching happen over and over again. Kids would come through our program at Covenant of Education. Some of them had genuine breakthroughs, real moments of clarity, and then, poof, nothing. They'd graduate, we'd lose touch, and we'd go find the next group to motivate. 3 years of that before we asked a very simple question. What if the graduate didn't leave? What if the ending was actually the beginning of something else? That question changed everything for us. Our flywheel has 3 stages. Each one feeds into the next. And the third feeds back into the first stage again. That's what makes it a wheel, a repetitive cycle, instead of a flat line. Stage 1 is clarity. Show up. A teenager commits to showing up, and here's the key, not showing up for themselves, for someone else. They're paired with a facilitator and held accountable through a framework we call the 7 teachings. 7 principles that move a young person from ambient confusion towards genuine self-knowledge. The work here isn't inspirational. I want to be clear about that. This isn't a TED Talk. It was never meant to be. This is archaeological. We're helping these children excavate what's already there. The signal. Find that signal that's buried underneath the noise. Every teenager already carries something extraordinary inside of them. Clarity is just the process of learning from it and learning to hear it. And that phrase, learning to hear it, it matters because nobody is implanting anything into these kids. We're telling them what to be. We're not telling them what to become. We're creating conditions where they can't help but recognize what's already there. Now, clarity without capability, that's just a nice feeling that fades away by next Tuesday. Stage 2 is where the seed actually sprouts. Once a teenager can name their purpose, and naming it matters, getting specific matters, we help them build the skills, the habits, and the resilience to act on it. This is where the 7 teachings shift from mirror to engine, the driving force, from seeing who you are to becoming who you can be. The goal isn't incremental improvement. We're not looking to go linear. I'm not interested in a kid who's 10% better. The goal is exponential improvement in finding your purpose and becoming the best at what you can be. The goal is full bloom. The goal is a young person who walks into the room and the room knows him. They know about him. They know this kid's potential. Here's where the flywheel earns its name. In stage 2. A graduate of stage 2 faces a choice. Carry forward your purpose alone or multiply it. We offer 2 paths after stage 2. One is you can teach, become a facilitator who walks the next teenager through stage 1, or you can fund the infrastructure that makes the teaching possible. Either way, The contribution pulls a new person back into clarity, back into stage one. The loop closes, the wheel turns again, and with every rotation, it carries more weight and moves faster. This is actually very interesting. It's exactly what I had envisioned in the first months of starting COE, where I've had donors, clients in the very beginning who were lawyers, who were medical professionals, and they were stuck. They've scaled their practice to some degree, to some extent, then they felt like they just don't have it in them anymore. They didn't have the technology know-how. And I had students, mentees, who wanted to become lawyers, wanted to become doctors, wanted to become professionals working for major tech companies. And I found this to be the perfect match. A seasoned professional who needs someone younger, a mentee that can help him with the technology, and a younger student that thinks they want to be or go on a certain path, but are not quite sure. And through the marriage of these two entities, through that partnership, we were able to produce so many successful mentees of children who were able to find their purpose earlier and professionals who were able to move further faster. So you see, truly, the way to finding what you're good at is by doing it, and the way to becoming the best in your chosen occupation is by bringing others along with you. Again, these aren't quotes for a throw pillow. This is real life. This is results. This is how things are done at scale for anyone who feels stuck. This is the part that most nonprofits miss. They treat graduation as the finish line. We treat it as a starting gun. Jim Collins wrote that a flywheel's power comes not from any single push, but from the accumulation of pushes in a constant and consistent direction. Same principle, but currency here isn't revenue. The currency here is transformed lives. Every teenager who reaches a contribution and chooses to teach doesn't just add one new participant. They add credibility, lived proof, relational trust that no marketing budget can manufacture. I want you to think of a flywheel like the turbine, the wind turbines in the silos. The wind comes along, a little push, and the turbine starts spinning. That's a flywheel. You don't need a large amount of constant pressure and force to get a flywheel to get going. A small donation, a small contribution, looking out for someone else, a referral, these micro actions and micro commitments, these are the things needed to keep the flywheel turning. And think about for yourself, you the viewer, how you can get involved, how you can make a contribution, whether it's through your own efforts, through a referral, through a share. These things are important. These are things that you yourself can do right now and not simply watch, but contribute while you're here. Being involved in the ecosystem has its benefits. It's not just benefits in your financial life, in your happiness, it's benefits to how you feel about yourself, to your soul. The work that we do, the things that we do, they change us. When you are involved and you do good for others, it changes you too for the better. Keep that in mind. Think about it. A 16-year-old listening to a 20-year-old who walked the same path 3 years earlier. That's not testimony. That's gravity pulling forth. And the ones who give financially, they fund the facilitators, the materials, the infrastructure. This is what allows our next cohort to begin. And if you're watching this right now, in March, we are looking towards you for support. We can't keep doing these cohorts without anything coming in. We need the budget for marketing. We need the budget to train the facilitators. We need the budget to expand. This is where we're coming out and reaching out towards you, because we know that you are able to help us continue our mission and continue to do good in this world. Yeah, sure, there are a lot of people asking, but who is really doing this genuinely? Who has that origin story? Who has that fire in their soul? Who's really sacrificing with their life to do greater good in this world? Think about that. And think about the contribution that you yourself can make to not just talk about a better future, but actually be involved in creating it. Your generosity isn't charity in a traditional sense. It's a reinvestment in a system that changes people's life. I'll say that again. It's a reinvestment in a system that changes people's lives. Both paths accelerate the wheel, one through time, one through resources, both through belief. The fuel is the center of this flywheel because even a flywheel needs continuous movement and fuel. Ours runs on three things we refuse to compromise on. Our flywheel only works because of three things, and it's in our North Star: to harmonize humanity through education, love, and kindness. Love, kindness, education. These are the three pillars. These are the fueling mechanisms of our flywheel: love, kindness, and education. And it's the ultimate form of caring and selfless giving. There's no greater way that you can contribute than to help educate, give selflessly, with love, and with kindness. These aren't values that you should again hang on the wall. It's not about putting this stuff on cheesy throw pillows and hanging this again on the wall. It's an operational principle embedded into every interaction between facilitator and participant. Every curriculum choice we make, every follow-up call after 6 months post-graduation. Strip any of them out and the mechanism stalls. Just like that. A program built on education alone produces knowledgeable cynics. Look at the universities around you. Tons of knowledge, zero follow-through. One built on kindness alone produces warm feelings with no trajectory. Ask your local prayer group. It's the combination. That's what makes a transformation durable enough to survive stage 3. It's the combination between true knowledge, true giving, the love, empathy, and the prayers along with it. Stage 3 is the moment when a graduate has to choose whether to keep receiving or to start giving. And most of our graduates choose to continue to give because they themselves know what it's like to be lost, to be unwanted, to not feel like they have the support. Here's what we're building towards. Our moonshot is 100 million people finding their purpose in life by 2040. 100 million people finding their purpose in life by 2040. That number sounds absurd until you understand the math of a flywheel. This isn't guy math, it's not girl math, it's flywheel math. Linear growth can never get to that number. Compounding, exponential growth can, if every graduate becomes either a teacher or a funder, and if the system they feed back into is sturdy enough to absorb the momentum. We're not there yet right now today. We're at 31 cohorts across the US and Brazil, counting every transformational moment with the obsessive precision of a startup tracking monthly active users. We call these moments of epiphany, of success, atoms, the smallest observable unit of a life redirected. The atoms are adding up as we speak today. The wheel is turning, and every push makes the next one just that much easier. If you believe that finding your purpose shouldn't be an accident of privilege, a serendipitous event, if you believe that the architecture is just as important as the intention, then you understand what we are building. The link to the full article will be in the description of the video. If this resonated with you, subscribe to the Captain Log series here on YouTube and on whatever social media platform you may be viewing this on. If you want to be part of this movement, coveofedu.org, that's the door.